this video on NMI, we showcase the VT101, a terminal from the iconic VT100 series by Digital Electronic Corporations, or DEC. And we show how we took it from this non-functional state to this fully functional state. So stay with me and don't go anywhere. The VT100 series of terminals from DEC was launched in 1978 and comprised three models: VT100, the first of the series; VT101, a lower cost version of the VT100 without any expansion capability; and the VT102, an expanded version of the VT101 including AVO, advanced video option, and serial printer output. These terminals were the primary interfacing method for interacting with mini computers and mainframes in the 70s and 80s. They are also known as smart terminals because they made use of microprocessors for controlling the screen, keyboard, and communication, allowing for better screen control and simpler communication using standard serial interfaces. A few characteristics of the VT100 series include: the VT100 series was a huge success and became a de facto standard when it comes to serial terminals. Unfortunately, when I got the terminal, it was in a very bad shape. It was dirty, and as you can see on the screen, it was not working. The keyboard was not responding, the screen was not responding. Disassembling the VT100 series is fairly simple. There are two plastic pins in the front and two plastic pins on the back. The first thing that I did was measuring the power supply voltages, and I found that the 12 volt was faulty. Instead of 12 volts, I was getting about 15 volts. Following the schematics, I started to probe the 5 volt reference voltage, the output reference voltage, the output of the error amplifier, and in the end I found that the main linear regulator, the 2N3791, was bad. I replaced it with equivalent, the MJ2955. Here we have the main logic board. We have the CPU, the 8085, SRAMs, one ROM, the keyboard controller, the UART for serial communications, a programmable baud rate generator, two video ASICs designed by DEC, a character generator ROM, a socket for an alternate character ROM, two video line buffer SRAMs, an external video output, and an EEPROM. That was brand new technology in the late 70s. And this memory is powered by minus 35 volts. It is a serial memory with 1400 bits. And looking at the schematics, we can see the clever design that has a plus 12 volt connected to the VSS reference of the EEPROM and minus 23 volts connected to the VGG pin. So that is equivalent to minus 35 volts when referred to VSS. The interface with the microprocessor uses open collector drivers for writing data and a comparator for reading the serial data. I started probing the 8085 signals because at first I thought that it could be, or it was, the main suspect. So I checked clock and several other signals. And then I found the I/O memory selector pin, which looks like has a collision or a bus contention. I proceeded to check the output buffer, the 74LS367, but the contention is still there. So I decided to remove and check the 8085, the CPU. And checking it on my Chip Tester Pro V2 showed that it was good. I also tried a different one, but I got the same result. So I decided to check the SRAMs, and I removed them and tested them, but they were all good. I also replaced the ROM, but it was also good. And then I decided to focus on the video output and video DMA circuitry, and in special the screen RAM latch. And probing with the oscilloscope, I found that pin 9 here has data coming in, but there is no data coming out. So this chip is probably bad, and I replaced it. I also found another bus contention here on pin 8 of 74LS273. But since this is an input pin, the contention can only be coming from either the line buffer SRAMs or that tri-state buffer, the 74LS244. I replaced the 74LS273, which was bad indeed, and also replaced the 74LS244, but that was good. And this is the result. Now the screen changed and we see the cursor blinking, finally. Now I knew that the line buffer SRAMs, one of them at least, was bad. Since I didn't have a 2111 SRAM here to replace, and searching on the internet, I found them but at expensive prices with shipping to Canada, I decided to design my own adapter using a 6116 SMT memory. So this is the PCB. And about 2 weeks later, I got the adapter, assembled it, I installed it using two sockets so I can later remove the adapter and replace with the original SRAMs if I decide to buy them. With regards to the keyboard, I Also noticed that the serial input pin 20 didn't have any signal, even though there was a signal coming from the keyboard. I could see the output, the serial output on the pin 6 of the 7416. There was nothing coming out on pin 7 of the LM393. So I decided to replace that IC. And indeed, it was bad. I also cleaned up the keyboard because it was really dirty. And here is the result. Yes, the garbage is gone. Keyboard is responding. We can now see the setup screen. Amazing. I am very happy. So in the end, there were 4 components bad on this terminal. The transistor, the 2N3791, the video DMA latch 74LS273, one of the line buffer SRAMs, and the analog comparator LM393. And this is the terminal cleaned up and ready to go. Oh, the sound of these keys. Here I have the terminal connected to my Linux desktop. It seems like at 9600 bps I am having flow control issues. I could not find out the exact reason. But configuring the terminal to work at 4800 and changing the settings on my Linux desktop, now everything is fine. And we can even play my Pong, my console Pong game. And since my objective is to connect my VT101 to my real PDP-11, I decided to try it first with SIMH running on my Linux desktop. It's pretty cool, right? So this is Unix running on a simulated PDP-11. Connected to my real VT101. Unfortunately, a few weeks after I fixed the terminal, I started to notice some artifacts on the video, especially on the horizontal, and you can see here. So if you know what could be wrong, please let me know. I already replaced all the electrolytic capacitors on an analog board, but that did not solve. The power supply, the filters are good, I don't see any ripple, but this is now an annoying issue. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to NMI and enable the notification so you can be notified when I publish new videos. And also, since this is the last video in 2025 and it's almost Christmas, I wish you all happy holidays, happy new year, and see you next time. Bye.